Welcome, everybody. My name is Kurt Roskopf, and I'm here bringing you your Revolutionize Your Marketing show. This is brought to you by Mill City Marketing MA. Again, I'm Kurt Roskopf with the World of Ability Podcast Network, and we are revolutionizing right in front of your mind and in your eyes and with your ears. We're bringing you a little twist. We got another member of the team here at the network. We're presenting you Michael from the Disability Channel, who's out there as in his own merits with being a writer, a podcaster, and a public speaker. Michael, I just want to bring you in and let you say hello to the audience and share with them a little nugget on who you are, Michael.
Hello, my name is Michael Hummel. I'm from New York, but I live in Las Vegas right now. I run a freelance writing and speaking and podcasting business called Wheels and Warriors. My mission in life is to end the judgment and assumptions surrounding disability, and my business mission is to help people with disabilities feel seen, heard, felt, and understood, and that is what I do.
Very good. Thanks for doing it, Michael. Thanks for coming on and being a part of the team right here,
Thank you.
Revolutionize Your Marketing. We're going to bring on John Petros Sr. and John, you really have your reaches out to amazing people with their own niche and what they deliver. And today is really one I'm looking forward to because your guest today brings me something that I'm going to say I feel a little ignorant about, but it's what he does speaks for itself, but it's my own ideas. I'm going to love what he's going to bring today. So, John, take it away. This is your Revolutionize Your Marketing show. Enjoy.
Thank you, Kurt, and welcome everybody who's listening. Um, Welcome to Revolutionize Your Marketing with Mill City Marketing MA. It's all about marketing. Anything and everything comes back to marketing. If you don't know how to market right, you got a problem. Something's not working right for you. And that's what this channel's about. I bring on guests that know what they're talking about and are willing to help. Like today's guest, Kenny Perry, who has Organic Mindset Agency Incorporated. How you doing, Kenny?
Doing well, thanks. Yourself?
I'm doing good. So why don't we let people know, well, they already know who you are, where you're from, and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Kenny Perry, and I'm originally from Canada, actually. I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's on the east coast of Canada. And, I live in Toronto. I've spent some time back and forth between the U.S. and Canada. I have my business set up in the U.S. as well. So we have a very big presence in Wilmington, Delaware. So pretty much, I spend a lot of time back and forth between the US and Canada. Now, pretty much today, I just want to introduce myself. So I'm the founder of Organic Mindset Agency, and we're essentially a full-fledged digital marketing agency that specializes in AI-powered automated websites. So what we do is we create websites that are essentially made to actually convert your clients with clear messaging, clear call to actions, and realistically being able to really make your business stand out from the pack. So we do a full-blown analysis in terms of understanding not just your business, but also the industry that you're in as well to ensure that you stand out amongst the competition.
And that's where the organic part comes in, right?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
In case people don't know exactly what you mean by organic, you want to explain that a little bit deeper?
Absolutely. So, my title of the business is, Organic Mindset Agency. So organic, it's a term that, it really, really resonates with people because when you go to like TED Talks, when you go to any type of networking event, you hear the term, organic growth, organic connections, organic, this, organic that. And plus, I'm a fitness junkie, so I like to eat organic foods and everything like that. So when it comes to just the mind of being able to make organic, pretty much anything from an organic perspective, it just really, really makes sense and it resonates with a lot of people. So that's how I came up with that name. And then the mindset aspect is when you wake up in the morning, you're setting your sales goals, you're setting your fitness goals, whatever it may be. There's a certain mindset that you have to have when it comes to, really executing and being able to, push your business, push yourself to the top to where you feel you need to go. So that's something that, I really, really have been focusing on, and that's how it came about. And my logo is a tree transforming into a brain, and my slogan is growing your business is all in your mind. So it ties really, really tied to the organic mindset.
Interesting concept. Interesting.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, I do marketing myself. I do a little bit with AI, but not with websites or things like that. How well does AI work on websites? Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So the AI aspect, it can have a lot of different integrations when it comes to the site. Now, not going too much into depth, but whether it's creating chatbots that can actually, communicate with clients, we can really, really function on, the layout of the site and ensuring that, the integrations are in tandem with the AI aspect. Really, really goes hand in hand with, when it comes to really designing the sites and, implementing the AI component into it as well.
Yeah, that's something my website doesn't have. Um, I've been talking with somebody taking a brief course with AI. Um, he gave out like a certification in AI, which to me doesn't mean much with the course that I took. It's not his main course where he goes into detail, but it was a little bit enlightening. Um, Dealing a lot with bots. That's his main goal is dealing with bots. That's something I've been looking into putting on my website that I really definitely need to put in is a bot. Um, I find that bots are a big help. Um, like people don't realize that when they call a business and they get a voice recording, a lot of times that's an AI bot that's answering the phone. I mean, they've developed bots now where they can just carry on a conversation depending on on what your answers are, which is really really deep in technology as far as I'm concerned. Um,
Absolutely.
how do you find the response of something like that on websites?
Well, it really depends because there's a lot of people that have templated answers that when it comes to, the design of a bot or something where it's actually, there's set templated answers that are really standardized to what it is that they want to answer. But what we do, we go above and beyond to personalize the messaging to make sure that it's based off of whatever question is asked, that it can actually communicate and can pivot to really react to the different types of questions that are being asked. So that's something that we've done in a nutshell.
Okay. That's and how long is have you been doing this?
Yeah, so I started the agency at the tail end of 2022. So, we're about 2.5 years old. And, I really want to focus on, helping businesses really get their messaging across and then also being able to have a robust system too that's going to actually turn into generating more leads, generating more business, and being able to really stand out from the competition. So, like, when you go to someone's site and it has conversion focused design, you're going to want to book a call with them. You're going to want to get a better understanding and really dive into, okay, how can this business really, really, stand out from the competition? So we really do a good job of integrating a ton of different plugins that also goes along hand in hand with the AI that's, embedded into the website.
Yeah. Um, so your priority is websites, or is that what your mainly is main concern is?
Oh, we do websites, we do SEO, online ads, social media growth and branding. And then we have a few different types of AI messaging services as well. So that can be anything from text campaigns to personalized artificial intelligence and videos where you're actually, and there's an avatar that actually personalized the message. So for instance, if I were to send an email to you, it'd be like, hey John, just let you know we have a promotion going right now. So it really is able to showcase that as well. So that's something that we've really focused on. And it's definitely taken off because it's really something that's helped a lot of people with really standing out from a branding aspect.
Yeah, something I played around with about a year and a half ago. Um, I was putting an ad out for something I was putting together, which fell through. Um, I had written content with the help of AI on half of the ad, and I put my headshot on the other half of the ad. And I tried out a piece of AI that I had heard about, and my picture was actually talking to content. And I found it really interesting. And then I realized that's been around for quite a while. A prime example of it is Geico commercials with their little lizard that talks the ads. Um, I've heard people putting things out on social media where their pets talk, um, which is really interesting. I got to play around with that. I got 3 dogs downstairs. I got to figure out something to make for them.
For sure.
But yeah, a lot of people don't realize how much goes into AI and how many different parts of AI there is. Um, right now, I'm pretty sure you can do an entire marketing platform where you just put the information in and the whole business takes over by itself. Do you find that to be true or close?
Well, here's the thing, John. When it comes to AI, it's what a lot of people need to realize too. It's properly, nurturing the content that's being produced. So what I mean by that is it's really diving deep into getting a clear understanding of the messaging, and you want to make sure that it has a personalized human touch to it. Because I mean, a lot of people have gotten to the idea where it's like, okay, I'm just going to utilize AI for everything and not really add a human touch to it. But what we have really realize as well is adding a human touch to it gives it more of a personalized approach to where it doesn't feel like it's just a robot that's speaking. So being able to have that in tandem with the communication and the messaging is very, very, very crucial for a business overall.
Yeah, I find businesses that are doing it all themselves. Some of them are using AI and just putting the full AI content out there, and you can tell it's not that personal. Um,
Exactly.
it's like I used AI at the same time I made that commercial, that ad. I also used AI to create an ebook on customer acquisition, and in like 3 4 minutes, I had 64 pages of nothing but print.
Exactly.
So I'm in the process of going through, rewording that, rephrasing it, making it more personal, more myself, adding graphs and charts to it, and eventually that will be coming out as a book.
There you
Eventually,
go.
I've been working on
Yeah.
it for 2.5 years now.
Well, you're almost there though.
Um, I'm probably about halfway. I don't put that much time into it. I got to put more time into that. But AI was a big help in getting that started. It's something I never would have thought about until I played around with it. And that's what a lot of people don't realize about AI is you can play around with it, and before you know it, you've got ideas flowing through your head. But
Exactly.
as far as the marketing aspect of it goes, I find that same thing. I use AI as for examples and then just reword it. It's it's good as a basis, and the same thing with people who use AI for books. They just put in what they want to talk about, and they let AI print up the book, and they put it out there. And that's why Amazon, I think, now has the program that'll detect that it's been written by AI, and they turn them away. They won't put them out there. Um, so that's like you said, that's the thing people have to realize. They have to make it personal.
Yeah.
I know colleges have the program that they run reports through, and if it detects AI, they don't accept the reports from the students. They want their reports to be personalized. Uh, So yeah, AI's got its good parts, and again, it's got its bad parts, like everything does.
Yep.
Um, but getting back to the marketing that you do, is there a special type of business that you like working with? Or
Well, to be honest, we're industry agnostic. I mean, it really just depends. I mean, a lot of people niche down, a lot of people go into certain niches that, they feel works best for them. But like what I feel is, you know, it's being able to have the flexibility to be able to adjust and adapt to a different industry is really crucial. So that can be anybody from whether it's brand new starting out or all the way up to like over 500 million in revenue. I mean, if that's, going to really, really be a key component of, obviously the business, then it's being able to really, I guess, connect in a nutshell to really be able to connect and, have a product and have services that are, needed. Because when I started the agency, I thought about, I wanted to create something, one, that's pandemic proof, two, I can operate in an online space, and three, God forbid we go through another, pandemic or whatever it may be, it's always going to be something that people will need. So that's when I realized that, I had an aha moment where everything just clicked in that sense. So yeah, so having said that, I feel just when it comes to industries, I mean, we've worked with so many different industries from sports betting companies to whether it's, fractionals, whether it's, supply and logistics, whether it's communications companies, we've worked with so many different industries, but different times of the year we target different industries. Like right now, I'm targeting a lot the home services industry because right now it's at the right time for it because of the climate changing in a lot of places, and that's they're in need of obviously getting more traffic and everything to the website, to their website.
yeah, yeah, that's like me. I don't have a particular niche that I work with. We're both kind of in the same field. You're a little bit more advanced than I am,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't have a particular niche. I like working with small businesses because, like you said, with the pandemic, they're the ones that get hit the hardest. I've seen too
Mhm.
many of them not come back. My ultimate goal is just help the smaller businesses build their businesses up big enough where something like the pandemic happens again, they'll be able to survive. Um,
Exactly.
um, and I'm willing to work with whatever budgets that they have. Um,
Yeah.
of course, the smaller the budgets, the less I can help them with. But start out somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
When if they just start off small with marketing, and the more business they get in, then they can increase more money into their budget for marketing. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
and I know there's a lot of marketers out there that have set prices, and I know some of them that'll say, well, if you can't afford my price, then go find somebody else. And
Totally.
I'm not like that. I just willing to work with whatever they can. I was helping a lady down in North Carolina who was starting a nonprofit. And of course, she didn't have money at the time. I said, don't worry about the money for now. I'll help you out and worry about the money when it comes in. But
Yep.
um, so I see that you do, like you said, you do all kinds of marketing, direct mail, brochures, video productions, um, websites, signs and banners, content marketing. A lot of people don't, a lot of businesses don't realize how much what's contained in the field of marketing. Do you find that to be true with your clients when you first start out with them?
Yeah, I find a lot of the time it's not only just the message and doesn't have clear messaging, but a lot of the time when you speak to business owners, they don't really either know one what their client acquisition price is, and also they don't really know what it is they're trying to do. I mean, you have a lot of clients will come in and say, "Oh, I need more leads. I need more leads." Okay, so what is your irresistible offer that's going to wheel them in, whether it's through a funnel, whether it's through your website, wherever it may be. It's you want to have a clear call to action and message. And so what we do with our clients, we help them strategize. We're like, okay, you know what? Whether it's 10% off the first time working with you, that's going to wheel them in. Boom, you get their information, you go into the database. There's several different ways you can really leverage, your initial, irresistible offer to actually get somebody to book a call with you, get into your newsletter, whatever it may be. It's really, really, really important to be able to have, obviously an idea of what it is that you want in place so that you can really execute and make that happen.
Yeah. Another thing I find out too is um, like in the name of your agency, the mindset. How do you find when you start off with businesses the mindset of the business owners? Uh,
I
is
feel, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
is their mindset like in the business, or is it partially in the business and partially somewhere else?
I think that varies because it's a very loaded question. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of business owners that are reluctant or they have a very scarcity mindset where it's like they don't really feel that okay, maybe having an optimized site or having a campaign running is going to actually help them. But when I actually show them, okay, these are the metrics, these is how we could actually help you improve. At this point, you're going to hit this metric. At that point, you're going to hit that milestone. That's what really helps them get a clearer understanding. Because when you really go above and beyond to understand what it is they're looking to do, and if you can actually help them come out with that idea. So like even with our slogan, growing your business is all in your mind. It's already in them. But a lot of the time we have strategy calls, we go through really highlighting how we can really assist them to one, brand themselves properly, two, be able to stand out from the competition, and three, be able to put themselves in a position to, obviously generate more leads that, hopefully turns into more business. So that's pretty much what we tell them in a nutshell. They
Yeah,
have to have an understanding of what it is they're looking to do, which you'd be surprised how many business owners really don't know. They're like, oh, I just need more leads. But how are you getting those leads? What's your client acquisition costs? Like these are the things that, a lot of business owners struggle with. Like how much does, you keeping a client for X amount of months, how much will that be in terms of obviously your ROI? Like, when you start getting deeper into that, they really start thinking and being like, okay, well, that makes sense or this doesn't make sense, etc. So it really just depends, to be honest with you, John.
yeah. I've had a couple of clients that I've asked them. I said, "So, what type of customers are you looking to attract?" And he said, "What do you mean?"
Exactly. So you understand what I mean.
Yeah, they had no idea what I was talking about. I said, "Oh, you need to know kind of how your customers think. What are they looking
Yeah.
for? What are they after? What's the majority of them looking for?"
Yeah.
And I mean, that's who they want to go after is the majority of the customers. You don't want to go
Yeah.
after the ones that aren't really coming in with the same thought. You want to go after the ones that think the same, especially if you have multiple surfaces or multiple types of products. Um, if it's a product based business, I like to find out what their biggest items are and what type of people are buying them. That's
Mhm.
who they want to go after. Same thing with services. If they have multiple services that they deal with. Which ones are the ones that people look for the most? That's what a lot of them don't have the mindset for. That's what I find out, anyways.
Yeah. No, for sure. Definitely.
um, all right, let me see if these other guys have any questions with what you've been saying so far. Kurt, and if you come up with any questions, I know you have. You've been doing this long enough. Did he disappear on us?
No, no, I'm good. My system is just slow to respond, but yeah, Michael
There he-
apparently got called off to something else, so he popped out, but he'll be back in future shows. Kenny, a question I have for you is we're deep into the granular details of digital marketing and really getting a sense of your strategy and how you serve business objectives. I want to peel back a little bit. I want to step back and come more from your life journey part of it. Like, of all the things you could be doing in the world, you gravitated into marketing and you're in these digital tactics and speaking everything you're speaking to today. How did this in your life come together that this is what you chose, instead of, the million other things you could be doing in life? What does this do for
Yeah,
you?
it's a good. Absolutely. So that's a great question. So I've always had a passion for marketing. I went to college, I graduated with a degree in communications, and it was really hard trying to find a job that was at least a decent paying job in my field after I finished school. So I got into banking, then I got into the insurance industry. But during the pandemic, I didn't really feel fulfilled. I was blessed to have a job during the entire pandemic, and I was working 12-hour days. I was, at Manulife John Hancock on the project side of, implementing 401(k) plans for transfer from one carrier to another. And it was really like mentally grueling, right? So I thought about, okay, I want to create something. I knew I always wanted to start my own business. And then I was like, I thought long and hard. I was like, okay, what really makes the most sense? And then I thought about, okay, digital marketing. So then I thought about, okay, let's figure out if I become a digital marketer, what's really going to make me stand out in the competition. So I looked online and I'm like, what are issues a lot of businesses have with digital marketing? First thing that came up was they take too long to get things done. Website says they're going to take 6 months and it's going to take, they're actually taking 12 months or 18 months, et cetera. So I said, okay, you know what? I was able to formulate a team that's able to get the site done in about 3 weeks or less. So 21 days or less is generally our cutoff point. And that's where you get at least, I call it the first draft. I call it the smooth draft instead of a rough draft because it's not rough. It's pretty much in place. You just need a couple tweaks here and there. So we get it to that point where we get it done in a very efficient manner within 3 weeks. So we collect everything we need from the client up front. And we have a very robust process, whether it's, the strategy call, the onboarding call. It's a very streamlined process. So that's what really, really helped me really, establish a nice, I would say, system when it comes to the beginning of obviously sending up in the initial calls with my clients. So yeah, so like just to go back to it, what made me go that journey is being able to help business owners and being able to help businesses look at marketing another way.
Yeah. Now, when I break apart marketing, Kenny, I kind of look at, you know, the realm of marketing includes PR, public relations, promotions, publicity, your customer service. And, there's a lot to the general field of marketing and the marketing plan that businesses need. How do you fit it together with what you're specialized in and to help make sure that you're serving the entire marketing needs of the client?
Um, Could you just repeat that one more time? Because I was just trying to figure out, it was just a few points I was just listening to. If you just repeat that question one more time.
Yeah. So for me, Kenny, when people use the term marketing, a lot of times, a novice's reaction is they start to think of advertising or a lot of social media. And the general person, the typical person, limits the idea of marketing to just that advertising, what you see on social media. When really the field of marketing, the practice of marketing in a business plan, if a business owner is going to look over all of the marketing that a business owner needs to do, I would ask a business owner, what are you doing for your public relations? Are you doing press releases? Are you doing promotions? How are you looking at your customer service process? What is your sales process like? So that when we get into digital marketing, it all needs to fit together, and that's and then the marketing needs to fit into the entire business plan, because that's what we're helping a business owner do, is to look at the entirety of this machine, this money making machine, and to make sure all parts are doing what it needs to do. So you're specializing in digital marketing, so I just was wondering how you experience how you're fielding questions and you're serving the client to help it fit into everything else that they got to worry about.
So true, absolutely. So that's a great question. So, in response to that question, it's subjective in the sense. And what I mean by that is it depends on the industry, depends on the age of the person. If it's an elderly person, they may not be as tech savvy as somebody that's, in their, late 20s to, mid 40s. If it's somebody that's any younger, and it depends on the industry, for instance. So let's say, for instance, we'll take plumbing, for example. A lot of the time, plumbers or roofers that's in the home services industry, they're very blue collar. They're very they're not going to be as bubbly as somebody that's an event planner, for an example. They're going to be very, okay, to the point, a little bit more curt, a little bit more, okay, what are the metrics that can actually be produced? So having said that, when I go through my scope of work, the type of questions that I ask, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what it is they're looking to do, how far is their reach going to go, what counties do they serve? These are the questions that I ask that's really going to make me get a clear understanding of what it is they're looking to do. And when I do that, I also ask a lot of questions in terms of how big their team is, how efficiently they get things done. Do they keep a gallery of their photos? Do they keep track of their projects? How long do the projects take? So these are the type of questions I field, so that way I get a better understanding. So it's like, okay, so when we put something together and we're able to really establish they can take you from point A to point B if we're doing their site and we're going to showcase what they do, or if we're taking them on a marketing campaign where it's like, they're targeting certain areas, the language that's going to be used, whether it's the blogging through the SEO, whether it's through the ads that we're creating, is going to resonate with their entire scope of work that's going to actually bring more business in, or at the very least, bring people in to get a call with them, like a consultation call. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, I felt that gave a lot more context to, what we've been listening to and you and John were exchanging on. Kenny, how did you ever come to meet John? How is it that you got this invite? Like, what happened behind the scenes that now you're on the stage here at the show? How did you guys connect?
So we connected on Alignable. It's a great platform for business owners, and we connected. We set up a one-to-one, and me and John had a conversation. I showcased some of the work that we do. He was really fascinated by it, and he said he would love to, potentially have me on. And here I am.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for coming on. I've been doing a lot of these shows with John, and I'm always working with all the multiple guests that he is on. 'Cause as you can imagine, from Alignable, we're able to have, guests doing anything soup to nuts, and then now to bring it into a marketing context. So I always enjoy when someone like you comes on, Kenny, and we can really dive deep into the granular stuff of marketing. I love it. I love marketing through technology and events. And so John is an ambassador of Alignable. I gotta say, very successful here, bringing in guests from Alignable. And but John, I want to get a little bit of your reaction. You got Mill City Marketing MA, and the lion's share of what we're hearing from Kenny. I don't know that you would resemble that or represent that Mill City Marketing MA as quite the marketing offers that Kenny does. React to a little bit of that, John, comparing Mill City Marketing MA to Organic Mindset Agency. How do we help folks understand, how they're calling on Kenny for his expertise, and then how that differentiates from yours, John? How
I'll
would you
be honest with you. Like I said a little while ago, he's more into the technical aspects of all of it put together than what I have gotten into. Um, I've been doing marketing for maybe 6, maybe 7 years. Kenny, I think it sounds like you've been doing it a little longer than that.
No, actually, it's only been 2.5.
Too. Okay, well, you were
Yeah.
into the technical part more than I was, but yeah, it's a never-ending process to learn about the marketing ends of things, um, especially involving AI now. There's always new parts of AI coming out that can be incorporated into marketing in different forms. Um, One of the things I like playing around with it with AI in the marketing part is there's a lot of different platforms out there that create pitches. I like using I can't even think of the name of it now. It's been a busy day. Um, Leonardo AI. Um, I've actually found out by doing it myself that when you put the content in on the top on what type of picture you want on that, you have to make sure you delete what you previously used. I made that mistake one time and ended up with Snow White in the middle of a sword fight. So, yeah, that platform you can really develop some really interesting photographs, or I shouldn't say photographs because they're not really photographs. They're more of artwork that it creates. But there's numerous platforms out there that AI has that is great for that. Um, some are better than Leonardo is. Uh, and like I mentioned earlier, there's that one where you can take a picture and have the picture talk. You can have the picture say what you want. Um, is there any special ones of those that you use, Kenny? Or
And we have some internal systems that we use and whatnot. Like we have an AI program that can actually record a video like of you right now, like how we're speaking, and actually be able to implement it into AI communication. So it could be, yourself, you can record you speaking for 3, 4 minutes. And then when let's say you want to send a personalized email out to somebody, it'll say, addressed to my name, and it'll be just like your voice, your likeness, and everything speaking. So there is that, and then we have also generic AI avatars that we could use as well. So that's also something that I wanted to mention.
okay. Sometimes I ramble on, but it comes out at the end with a good question.
For sure, definitely.
Anything else, Kurt?
Yeah, Kenny, I see an opportunity here to, kind of get you in this wheelhouse that we're experiencing right now, live streaming, podcasting, using YouTube and the other social medias. How do you see that factoring into the work that you do? Do you find yourself advising people, in terms of if they're going to go out there and do shorts, or if they're gonna go out there and do like, do you have people who are doing a podcast and then you're helping them on their podcast project? What do you see on that?
I'm currently I'm currently not helping anyone with a podcast right now. Now, when it comes to pretty much like putting your face on camera and whatnot, I'm someone that doesn't really do that. I use it effectively by using whether it's visuals, whether it's through text, whatever it may be, or even animations. Now, there are some people that do it and do it effectively. And I think it really just depends on who your target niche is. So if you're somebody who's like a business coach, if you're somebody who's some type of a fractional, if you're someone who's, a brand specialist, like there's certain roles that you really want to make sure you get your face out there. And the people that do it, I think they do it well. Now, I think it's really comes down at the end of the day to being able to efficiently make sure that you're, using hashtag optimization. You're properly making sure that, you're connecting, you're at the right people, you're making sure that, your algorithms are going to be, sent out there to the right types of people that are going to be, obviously clicking on your links and everything. So it really just, it's a really, really deep dive. And I mean, to go on and on and on about these things, it would be, we could take an eternity, another hour at least to really go through that stuff on the technical aspect. But, I believe it's really being able to efficiently be able to, market yourself properly with the right content that's going to resonate with people. Storytelling is huge. That's one thing I will say. If you are somebody who likes to put your face on the camera, telling a story that really resonates with people, gentlemen, is one of the most crucial things. So if it's your journey from trials and tribulations to getting to where you are, showing a human aspect and humility is something that really, really helps, business owners connect with a larger audience.
Yeah, yeah, that is great. Let me bounce back to I'm get more thoughts about Alignable and online marketing. Alignable as the smart connects, where we get spun off into most of the time one-to-ones. Once in a while, the numbers are odd where, you're in a like this, three people talking for introduction, and a platform like Alignable is all about the relationships. So like a lot of the stuff you set up, it's not like come into Alignable and like show everything that Kenny Perry empowered me to do, building that. But, what are your thoughts about, when we put our time in Alignable and then we have our digital presence out there that you help us do, how do you see it connecting and the organic mindset agency helping somebody get more effective results, considering their time they spend in Alignable building relationships? How does it connect?
Yeah, so one thing I would say when it comes to the alignable aspect, you don't want to be too pitchy. I mean, even as a business owner, my first year in business, I realized you come off too aggressive, you come off too hungry for business. People don't resonate with that. So it's all about building connections and, connecting with people for one-to-ones, and people see you enough, then they'll feel comfortable enough to say, hey, I know somebody that needs what you offer. But like I say, no pitch slapping, because when you come in, just pitch and pitch and pitch and pitch, people just don't want to hear that, right? So it's just when people actually get a chance to know you and they see that you're genuine, you may give them free nuggets in terms of, okay, this is some advice that I would potentially use. It opens their mind up, and they're like, okay, you know what, this guy, it seems like he knows what he's talking about. And it's like, let's have a one-to-one. And then it's like, you give them a few more, snippets of things that actually could really help them with their business. And then it's like, okay, tell me more, tell me more. And then the next thing you know, you may have a client out of this. It may not be right away. You just have to be patient. They may have someone else they can refer you to. So it realistically is about posting a lot, giving information and content, and then it's just about really, really connecting with people that you're actually building connections with, and not coming off trying to sell them. That's how you're really growing alignable. It's a longer game, obviously, because you're not coming in guns blazing looking for a sale. Give me a sale, give me a sale. But it actually is more effective than you would think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And when we think about, our positioning ourselves to go out there in events and meet people, and then to think about, what we do building all these relationships, there's a little, it's that thing of, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So there is that real thing that if we think of it from our perspective, like if I'm going to introduce somebody to John or to you, Kenny, I mean, there's a real decision in that I'm like, I know, like, and trust you to, that when I send somebody I know, like introducing you to Michael from the Disability Channel today, it all fits because we have to pay attention to our reputation, and we don't want egg on our face or, stuff like that. We don't want things to go wrong. And then that's a reflection on us. So to really have that solid footing that we know that it's a good handoff from all the care we put into our business and doing the right thing for a person, that my knowing you two will do the same thing. That's what it's all about. And if that doesn't exist there, that handoff will not happen. Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, John, what are you thinking here in terms of the alignable side? I'm trusting you're liking, like I did, everything that Kenny just said about that, but you got your own experience. I think of alignable with, millions of people on there. And if we spend enough time, we can meet thousands of people. It's not too difficult to meet thousands of people through alignable if you're putting on an ongoing effort, throughout the year. It'll mushroom out because people start introducing you, and this organic growth to our sphere starts to really mushroom out. And it's just
Yeah.
amazing, how we can get that. So someone like Kenny, John, you know, if we look at the field of everybody on alignable, there's a lot of people like yourself, John, that can offer something to marketing, but Kenny's got a distinctive presence, right, John? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and that part is very, very important. We always look at in our branding and our presence, our differentiation, because, in the category of marketing, that's why I elaborated on if somebody's saying they do marketing, it could be a wide range of things that they could be doing. So they might be getting some service from a marketer, but then Kenny have nothing that you offer from that marketer, right? So it's a little tricky to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples when somebody's trying to figure out if their marketing needs are taken care of. So, John, what else would you say you want to, accomplish today in our remaining minutes of the show? And let's take a careful consideration to some last nuggets that Kenny might be able to leave. What are you thinking, John?
Um, I don't know. I'm at a loss of words here right now.
Well, that is good because we got a guy who loves marketing talking to a guy who loves marketing, and now John's a loss for words. That's a well done message right there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I give Kenny a lot of credit. He's very well versed with the technical aspect of marketing. Shall I say a hell of a lot more than me. But that's one of the things that puts him up over some of the other marketers that I bumped into on Alignable. Um, you're very well diverse in the technical end of it, Kenny. I will
Thank you.
give you credit for that.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, sir.
Kenny, in the last 2.5 years, when you think of, you know, at this moment, and if I get you to think through, your clients and what you've done, and because we come into our businesses and we know what we can offer, and then it's an experience how well people come in and take us up on our capacities and everything we can do. What would you say in terms of, at least at this moment, Kenny, what comes to your mind in terms of the biggest accomplishment or the client that gave you the most opportunity, the biggest, best, most amazing or unique or odd, unusual? Well, what's an experience that in your serving clients that stands out in your mind that really just lets us experience the expanse of your experience?
The next client. That's the way I look at it.
The next client. So,
Yep.
so that's what
The
that's
next
what it's
client.
about. Take what I was talking about, that you could sum up the last 2.5 years, and you're hungry to figure out, that next client that's going to come in, and you're always on the ready. That who knows what they're going to put on the table for you, but you're going to pick it all up, and you're going to form that new solution, that new customized message back to that person, and you're looking forward to that next challenge. Is that what you're
Exactly.
telling?
That's where my head's at. Yeah, the next client. Because, to be honest with you, we've been, blessed in a sense to where, we've, made some great connections. We've connected with some clients that are really, 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 obviously doing well since working with us in terms of whatever industry they're in. But I just feel you have to have a mindset. It's like you celebrate, you get a new client, you get a verbal, you get a written, payment comes through, but you have to stay hungry, you have to stay humble, you have to stay hungry. So for me, it's just that next client, that next client, that next client. My mindset is always going in that route where it's like I don't try to reflect. It's like, okay, yeah, we've had some wins, some accomplishments that I feel very blessed about, but the hunger has to stay consistent in terms of to me, I'm always thinking about that next client. So, we've done some great work. We've closed off a few projects actually this week that went really, really well. And right away, we've got, I think was it three verbals this week. So, yeah, I'm gonna plan to close them next week. So it's just like, okay, so I have those, then I'm thinking the next after those. Once those ones close, then it's like the next we start those projects, then it's like the next one, the next one. That's how my mind consistently keeps going.
Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
practice that keeps on evolving, that your game gets sharpened, that experiential component, and things you've accomplished in the past, you're able to bring it all in and celebrate the accomplishments and the successes, and then say this is heightening your capacity, as you say, for the next client. Yeah, I'm really sensing it, Kenny. Well done.
Thank you,
So
sir.
so, John, we've got a handful of minutes yet if you want them in terms of more to do here. So, what's next, John?
Um, I actually ran out of questions.
You ran out of questions. Well, I wonder if that's what happens to, Kenny's contacts, that if people are just ready to go because Kenny said enough and it's time to dive on in here. So Kenny, with that idea that I just said, it's time to dive on in and participate with the Organic Mindset Agency and your capacities to serve marketing. How do we find you if people want to, find you on social media, get to your website? How do they do all the thing?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it is at Organic Mindset Agency, all one word, at Organic Mindset Agency. That's how you can find me on social media. And to find us, you can reach out to us there. Our website is www.organic-mindset.com. I repeat, organic-mindset.com. And then email, you can reach out to me as well. It's Kenny at organic-mindset.com. I repeat, Kenny at organic-mindset.com. And the general inbox is info at organic-mindset.co. So those are the ways to get a hold of me. And if you want to give me a call, you can reach out to me at 302-204-0226. That's how you can get in contact with me. 302-204-0226. So yeah, so what I will offer, if anyone actually from this, is listening in, whether it's now or later, wants to book a call, I will actually give a hotel savings card for even booking a call with me. So that's something that we'll be doing. So therefore, if you're looking to travel, the hotel savings card will allow you to save on your next vacation.
There you go.
Excellent. Excellent.
Comes with an
So,
offer.
yeah. So Kenny, I'm just going to do something that's in some sense random, but because of something that happened with you and me at an earlier date, I want to give a shout out to a friend from the Happy Neighborhood Project, Diamond Drip, and I just was looking at
Diamond, tell Diamond I said what's up.
yeah, anything you want to say, let's just create a little something here. We can send this out to Diamond Drip, but I think of the mindset side. I think Diamond Drip would dive into the mindset part of, kind of what you're doing. But any thoughts in terms of my bringing up Diamond Drip? And the message back then was, I signed up for her program. And so what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, no, Diamond's phenomenal. She's great at what she does. I hosted a webinar with her. I think it was almost 2 years ago now, probably about a year and a half ago. And I got a chance to really get to know Diamond. And Diamond's extremely knowledgeable. She's full of life. She's different. She stands out from the pack because of obviously, the energy that she has and everything like that. And, if you are someone out there listening and you are looking for, whatever type of, assistance you may need, Diamond is one of the most, positive and uplifting people that I've come across. She's always positive, always happy, and just, a joy to really connect with. So shout out to Diamond Drip.
There we go. So with that, John, I'll bring it back to you with any closing words, any forecasts. We want to announce who we're looking forward to in a future show at all. What do you have, John? This is coming to our wrap up part of the show.
Well, next week we have a very well-rounded guest coming on. She's a singer, songwriter. She has an e-cookbook out that I will have her definitely talk about. That's her key thing. She's been nominated for many musical awards, not only in the US, but in other countries. Some of the songs that she's written have been the top 10 lists in Australia and some other countries. Um, so next week, folks, will be a very interesting week to tune into. Again, if you want to watch live, you can go to YouTube on my YouTube page, Mill City Marketing MA, and it will be live streamed there. And you can also see some of my previous podcasts on that same page. Um, and I have hopefully some really interesting guests coming up in the future. So please go to the my YouTube page, like and share my page.
There you go, folks. So is that the last word, John? Does that do it for today?
That should do it for today.
All right. Thanks for being out there, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening to Revolutionize Your Marketing by Mill City Marketing MA by the ever so famous ambassador of Alignable, John Petros Sr., award winning at that, and our very capable guests here, Kenny Perry, Organic Mindset Agency. Again, I'm Kurt Roskopf from the World Ability Podcast Network, and we had on earlier Michael Hummel from the Disability Channel, partnered with us here on the network. And later on the network, we're going to have Marilyn the Mayor with World of Nutrition. So that's just an hour away from the time of our recording this. So we have about 15 shows on the network, folks, and we're looking to grow there. So if you do want to do a show like John's doing here today, give me a call, 262-372-1754. Shoot me a text there and email me with anything about what you saw today. Kurt at spiritofthegame.org.